How much, sir? Here, I got a couple questions for you. 3 of them. Be as quick as possible.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Do you believe, as a law enforcement officer, you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe in mine and private citizens' Second Amendment rights to bear arms, keep and bear arms, to defend ourselves and others?
Absolutely.
Would you comply with an unconstitutional order to go door to door or person to person and confiscate firearms from a law-abiding citizen if you were ordered?
Absolutely not.
You would not? Was there anything you'd like to add to that, sir?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time. You have a good evening.
You guys definitely want to go subscribe to this channel, Wake the Sheep. One of the things about this channel is he says he's winding it down and he's not going to be uploading videos anymore. I truly believe this guy was very good for the community. I do like the way he approached this whole police accountability thing. And this video is a compilation of some of his work. You guys go subscribe to his channel, binge watch his videos, and try to talk him into staying on YouTube, man. Check this out, folks.
Excuse me, officer, are you all done?
Yes, sir.
Hey, can I get your name and badge number, please? Badge number 29. Hey, you got a minute for a couple questions?
Yes, sir. We do have calls, but
I'll tell you what, it'll be real quick.
Okay.
Do you believe you have an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution? Do you believe in private citizens' Second Amendment right to defend themselves and defend others? Would you comply with an unconstitutional order to confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens? Okay, sir, anything else you want to add? All right, thank you. Excuse me, officers, you guys free for a minute? Appreciate it. Can I get your name and badge number first?
Matthew Benton, badge number 58.
Appreciate it. Hey, do you believe as a law enforcement officer you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution?
Absolutely.
Would you violate that Constitution by complying with any unconstitutional order to go confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens?
Absolutely not.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, not currently.
It's a 2-for-1 sale. Name, badge number, please, ma'am.
Officer Kastmeyer, badge 59.
Do you also believe you have duty to uphold and defend the Constitution?
Yes.
Would you comply with an unconstitutional order to confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens?
Nope.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay, have a nice day. Hey, can I get your name and badge number?
Sergeant Sheehorn, badge number 9.
Oh, hey, badge. Okay. Hey, can I ask you a couple questions? You got a minute? Hey, do you believe as a law enforcement officer you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution?
The federal constitution. I'm sorry.
Do you believe as a law enforcement officer that you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution? You do? Would you comply with any orders to violate that Constitution, the constitutional rights of the people, such as confiscating firearms door to door, other dumb things?
Not gonna
You wouldn't? Not going to happen. Is that what you said?
Not gonna happen.
Not going to happen. I appreciate it.
I like my guns.
Absolutely. But even if you didn't, it should be other people's rights, even if you didn't. But
Sure.
I can accept that answer. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No.
I appreciate your time. How's it going?
How are you?
Good. Can I get your name and badge number, please?
Officer Stoffer, badge 33.
Mr. Stoffer. Hey, how's it going today? Hey, I got a couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe you took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution and people's rights?
I do.
If you were ordered to go door to door or person to person and confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens, would you comply with that order?
I swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, both Kentucky and the United States, and I would not do it.
You would not do that? Is there a particular reason why you're standing there with your hand on your gun?
That's just work with my hands.
Okay, just making sure. I'm not
Yes,
standing
sir.
with mine on mine. I just
No,
want to make
yes,
sure
sir.
we didn't
That's just how I say it.
make sure I didn't put you at ease. I was too close or something.
No, sir, you're good. I'd say that's just where I keep it.
Was there anything else you'd like to add, sir?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, you have a good evening. Can I get your name and badge number?
Yeah, man. Johnny Spikard, 48.
48. Hey, can I ask you a couple questions? Do you believe as a law enforcement officer you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution?
I do.
Would you comply with any order that compelled you to violate that Constitution, such as confiscating firearms from law-abiding citizens?
Man,
It's your answer.
right. And, you know,
And keep in mind, let me say this first, and this is my belief, and this is what most people, I believe. The Constitution does not grant rights. The Constitution enumerates or lays out what they believe are inalienable rights, such as Second Amendment, First Amendment, etc. So even if the Constitution were changed, and this is my opinion, we would still have those rights. It would just be them trying to circumvent our rights that the forefathers set in. But again, I'll let you answer how you want to answer.
and I'm kind of along that line there where, you know, we have the right to keep and bear arms, 100%. And I totally 100% agree with that. And I would say no, honestly, if it came down to it, of them saying I have to go confiscate that person's guns, or unless there's a, you know, viable reason.
Okay, they're a threat, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But I mean, Congress decides they're either going to change the Constitution or Congress decides that they are going to use you, which you guys are normally used as the stormtroopers for the elite and the rich, that's sort of my beliefs again, to say, hey, you know what, we don't want the American citizens being armed because either A, they just think it's safer, or B, they want to do something where they know they don't want us armed. What would be your, would you go and comply with that?
No.
Nope. Was there anything else you'd like to add?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time, sir. You have a good day. Name, badge number, please.
Officer Donovan, number 25.
Number 25. Hey, Officer Donovan, I got a couple of questions for you, man. You believe as a law enforcement officer you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution?
Definitely.
Do you believe in my and other private citizens' rights, Second Amendment rights to maintain and use firearms for defense?
Definitely.
Would you comply with an unconstitutional or non-rights order to go door-to-door or person-to-person and confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens?
No.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Nope.
Thank you, sir. You have a nice day.
Two.
Can I get your name and badge number, sir?
Deputy Johnson, 130.
130. Just 1 second. Hey, can I get your name and badge number?
139.
139. Your name? Wilmos. Hey, how you guys doing tonight? Hey, can I ask you guys a question? You guys believe as law enforcement officers you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution?
Yes.
You do? Let me ask you a general question then. Would you comply with any order that compelled you to violate the constitutional rights of any fellow citizen?
Now, you know I can't answer that.
No, you can. Actually,
No,
that was
I can't.
no, you can. You just can't answer specifically about the Second Amendment. Their policy is only saying you can't answer about specifics. You can answer whether you would violate any order that would violate the Constitution of a fellow citizen, but I can't ask you, according to their ridiculousness, whether it would be about confiscating firearms or kicking me in the shin. So you can choose not to, and I'm gonna call you a coward for doing so because I believe if you can't stand for it, then you must not believe it. So I'll ask you, and I'll let you have your answer, and that's fine. And I'm not going to ask you specifically about a sheriff's department order or where it's specifically coming from, or specifically what they're asking you to do. I'm just asking you, in general, would you follow an order that you knew compelled you to violate the constitutional rights of a fellow citizen?
No.
No? Would you, sir?
No.
No? Thank you very much. You guys have a nice evening. Get your name and badge number.
23.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
It depends on what they are, but go ahead.
I'll ask them. You don't have to answer. That's fine. You believe as a law enforcement officer you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution?
I'd rather not answer that.
Rather not answer? Would you comply with any order from anywhere to violate the constitutional rights of a fellow citizen?
I'd rather not answer that.
Rather not answer that? Well, if you can't, and this is the way I feel about it, and this is my personal opinion, if you can't stand up for it, then you probably don't believe it.
Let me just say I'll uphold my oath. How about that?
You'll uphold your oath? I'll give you some credit for that one then. Thank you, ma'am. Anything else you want to add?
I think I'm ex-military. I think you know how I feel about that.
I believe I probably do. Yes, ma'am. And
All right.
I appreciate it.
That's it, man.
This is Officer Blandford, and yes, I probably spelled her name wrong. Normally I just tell you to give what weight you want to the officers, and I try not to normally say whether I believe them or not. But I'm going to be honest, I tend to believe her. You can disagree if you want. Also, my time is winding down, so I'm starting to dump my final bits. I've got one or two more after this, including that piece of shit tyrant that, when I invoked my Fifth Amendment constitutional right, decided that would cause him to need to remove me from the vehicle, further to disarm me, and further to show what I constantly say about the system, that when you use your rights, they consider you uncooperative, which is what he called me for stating that I refuse to answer questions. I believe that'll be my last bid. I know. It's a real loss to the fucking filmmaking industry. I get it. But the fact is, I just thought you should know. That's it for this one. Moving on.
How's it going today, trooper? I'm doing great. I'm armed, as you can see. I'm no threat to you, sir. Hey, I was wondering if I could get your name and badge number.
Last name is Scott, badge number is 735.
You got a minute for me to ask you a couple questions?
What can I do for you?
I wanted to ask you, do you believe as a law enforcement officer you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution, both the Kentucky and the U.S.?
We do swear to uphold the Constitution of Kentucky. Now, there are things within the federal Constitution that aren't with are not within our purview to do anything.
Right. Okay, well,
Do you have a specific question? And the reason I asked,
I do.
The reason I asked, I am here doing something right now.
Okay.
And I need to be paying attention to what we're supposed to be paying attention
Well, I understand. But
to. Do you have a specific question?
I do, and let me respond to that real quick. It'll only take a minute. I'm a citizen. You're a public servant. I'm the public, so I figure you got a minute for me.
Yeah.
So, okay, I appreciate that. So here's my question. Would you comply with any order that was unconstitutional, or would you comply with a specific order or command to go door to door, and confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens?
We could not do that without some sort of court any more than we could take any other property. If that property is legally owned.
Right. Okay.
I mean, if it's contraband, something like that, I can't let you keep this person alive.
Right. Right.
The scenario that I think we would lie if the federal government,
I'm gonna get a little close because
if federal government passed some sort of law saying, you can no longer possess this firearm, until we were presented with a court order saying to go in and seize that property, we wouldn't have any authority to do that.
I normally just tell you to give what weight you want to give and what belief you feel is necessary to what they say. However, this is one of the ones I am going to express what I believe and what weight I give. But you do need to pay close attention to what they say, what they don't say, how they say what they say, and what they purposely avoid saying. Did you hear him say that? Did you hear him say, I can't let you keep that because the law says you can't, giving an example? So, by his own statement, if a law were passed which absolutely violated the Second Amendment, violated your constitutionally reminded of, not granted because the Constitution does not grant rights, for the most part, it only reminds the government of what we the people's rights are, and further it was written to restrict government, not restrict we the people. But if a law were passed, such as this type right here,
Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein and Democratic Congressman David Cicilline pushing through a bill banning several types of what they call assault weapons. It would also ban ammo magazines holding more than 10 rounds. This comes after House Democrats passed 2 sweeping gun control bills requiring background checks on all commercial gun sales and a 10-day review for gun purchases.
So if those laws were passed, and by this officer's belief, because they're no longer lawful, well then you're not acting in accordance with law, and he can't let you keep them. By his own statement, any law written he would blindly enforce and feel justified doing so. So in my opinion, I'd have to say that makes him a tyrant, right? I mean, isn't that what tyrants do? Blind, order-following robots? Isn't that what they do? Don't they simply do as they're told without regard for rights, freedoms, constitution, justice, and then claim later they were just, quote, following orders, end quote, because it was unlawful per the law which was passed that said you couldn't say something or do something or defend someone or be somewhere despite the fact the law is unjust and an infringement? I'm just asking for a friend. Moving on.